Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek Like Shake, and we're back with another reaction to Motherland. We are now on to episode 6, which is called Up is Down. So last episode we had some action really start to kick in for the series, particularly as far as affecting our main trio, and a lot of other things came to light, especially the biggest one probably being the fact that Tally has figured out that Scylla is Spree, and she told Anacostia about this, and apparently we can just assume that she was told not to say anything to Raelle just yet. Other than that, obviously, there's the trauma that poor Abigail went through in seeing her family member get murdered like that, but also I think it's just become very clear to the High Atlantic and the powerful families in the military that they are not untouchable and that Spree is getting worse and worse. So let's jump into the episode, but before we do that, if you've been here before and you like what you see and you want to see more of it, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified for whenever we do more uploads of Motherland. And if you like what you see, of course, you can like it now if you're feeling confident, or of course at the end of the video. Either way, I'm glad you're here. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. We got ghosts in the desert? Oh, I wonder if this is this secret seed place, because they said it was somewhere near China and another place. Oh, this guy looks tired. Don't drop her.
What? You have slaughter. No, I didn't. The sigil didn't work. I tried to wind strike them off me.
Listen, Abigail, are you sure you're okay? We can take a break anytime.
No, I just saw someone get murdered and almost died. I'm far from okay.
In a flask. We can try this later.
I think that's a good idea.
I can do this.
No, I think you should take a break.
I'm a Bellweather.
Yes, but you're also human.
Are you sure you want to do this right now? Perhaps after you...
Let's begin.
Where did she get it from?
Abigail, are you okay?
Clearly not.
Fine, standard procedure. You don't want to talk? I just spent 2 hours talking.
And I was stabbed. And I saw someone die while y'all was dealing with your stuff. So just let me have a minute, please. So who's this? Oh, that does not look good. That's,
I didn't want to believe it. But they're witches.
Wasn't that? They're Bellwethers.
They killed all, oh, why the black people always gotta put up with this nonsense? So you just get high, basically, to save your life. Is that what you're trying to say, that drugs are good?
I have some great news, soldiers. No one needs to kiss any ass to fly anymore. That's what you gotta do.
I like this one. We finally got a witch joke.
Until I tell you.
You're not scared. It's all good. Leap. Watch in the middle of this, she gonna have memories or something that's gonna throw her groove off. Did I call it or did I call it?
Spree kills civilians. They hardly ever target their own. This isn't disturbing your strategy.
Against my family!
Deliberate targeting of my family. They tried to kill Abigail once, they could try it again. We'll keep Abigail safe.
Right, like you kept that other troop that went in to catch Spree safe? Sure.
Keep the rest.
We are investigating every angle without bias, and she's not been found.
You're acting like I'm crazy. I'm not crazy.
Did
We
you
were all
just
standing
hear
there.
yourself?
You saw her. You saw her, and then she was gone.
I'm not crazy!
You won't get better until you face it and find your center again.
What kind of weepy peepy NorCal nonsense is that?
Weepy peepee.
Excuse me?
Is that a real
Wanna
thing?
make flower rings and sing to the goddess too?
Don't talk to me like that. I'm sorry.
Good for her, standing up for herself.
So I have to have a bodyguard. What happened to
She looks like a badass bodyguard straight out of Wakanda.
Self, Mom. Ryder is one of our most decorated and highly trained soldiers.
Yes.
Wouldn't trust you with anyone else.
Black excellence.
Do you even talk?
Not my job, man. Exactly. Can you do that? Didn't think so. Is that the afterlife? You know, the way folks just be touching things. Oh, is an evil version of Raelle being created now?
Don't let your guard down.
I'm not.
I like this. Let's go. Come on, Dora Milaje. Can't protect Wakanda with your weak. Yo, your bodyguard ain't even tired yet. Ha! There we go. Let it out.
I know how to do this. I let my guard down.
Sweetie, you couldn't have possibly known that was gonna happen. At a wedding. Bless her. She carries so much on her shoulders.
But I know that Salem is free, and I know Raelle loves her, and I cannot pretend that nothing happened. I will say nothing, because you have nothing to tell. How can you be a sister to her and a liar at the same time? You are a soldier protecting our nation, Craven. That's all you need to know for right now.
That never works. Ugh.
That she died. It was war.
She was my sister. Without her, I would never see life the same way again. So I decided I didn't deserve two eyes.
I know that's supposed to be poetical, but damn, I'm pretty sure from the afterlife, she's like, girl, get your eye. Like, get your eye.
Zilla was killed in the storm.
If only. But I feel like that would just be a little too easy.
General Alden.
Yeah, she's like, stop touching her.
I wanted to check in. You mean in Salem? Way back when.
Lucha leji, jiruponas, rame walaya eno.
Ooh.
We will remain the final stewards of our sons. I would like to be alone with my sister now.
Out!
I'm glad you and your sister.
Witch. I like him. He's a very, commanding presence. I like it.
Go and see this place. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, sure.
But that thing on her finger.
Abigail, you had a nightmare.
I did not. I had a leg cramp. Everyone's overreacting.
Sure. You turn the lights on with the leg cramp.
Stop hovering!
Okay.
I've never felt less powerful than I am right now. Yeah, I've never been this way.
Grace stubborn, Abigail. And wild.
Look at you quoting other people's words.
You're gonna be okay. I'm sorry about Charvel.
Finally.
I'm sorry about
Scylla. There we go. Potential.
You are not supposed to be in here.
Was there a hiding spell? Huh.
What the hell? Where's Raelle?
That's not the question of the season. So I guess some witches use brooms, but this witch uses salve.
Raelle is my sister, and I know that you understand what that means. You weren't able to save your sister, and I can't imagine what that feels like.
You just be talking like one of this business of everybody?
Let me find out. Let me save my girl and bring her home.
And then beat her ass. Leaving base like that.
She's alive! She's not dead!
Okay, crazy. Scylla? You and Spree gonna have some one-on-one time? That's what happens when you join cults. That choker is actually kind of nice looking, just saying.
Okay.
Oh, so they did grab her. Awesome. I'm sorry, I love it. Anacostia like, bitch, I told you. I warned you, didn't I? Now you in real trouble, girl. Ooh. That stance.
Hello, Salem.
Hello, boss. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't convince me. I'm still totally convinced that Adler is totally the head of Spree. This is what I'm thinking. I feel like that's it. All right, guys, that was the latest episode, or latest for me, of Motherland. And yeah, we're moving some things along. We've got some more interesting stuff that's kicking in now that I find a little bit more scintillating. Get to see what I did there? Scintillating, not Scylla, but anyway. I really like that this episode dealt with the ramifications of what went down for Abigail. I didn't really expect it to be a thing where like everything was going to be glossed over, but sometimes in these teen geared types of dramas, they tend to kind of oversimplify just how traumatic certain situations can be. And they gloss over things that are very real, like having PTSD or post-traumatic stress. Whenever someone goes through a massive trauma, and especially one that is as absolutely horrific as what Abigail saw, the death of a family member, and such a graphic death of a family member, and then also almost being killed shortly thereafter, that's a lot of trauma. Between the obvious grief that she's feeling over losing a family member, the other part of it that's kind of massive is, as she mentioned towards the end of the episode, the heart of it all was the fact that she realized just how powerless she was in that whole situation. And I think, you know, she subconsciously kind of felt a little bit untouchable and a little bit unbreakable, I guess you could say. And then this situation where she didn't have her magic. She suddenly had to fully rely on her physical abilities, which even if she was a very good physical fighter, it was 2 against 1 for a moment there, right? Which is extremely hard for most people. Unless you are a super skilled fighter, it's hard, right? It's not an easy thing to do. And especially since these witches look like they learn some combat, but really what they're learning more than anything is to use their magical abilities. So when you take away that massive trump card, Abigail found out the hard way just how vulnerable she truly was. And it's scary. And that's the part that sits with trauma for a long time that happens to us as people. Like if something happens to us, that lack of control, that fear is really what haunts us for potentially years or even a lifetime afterwards. I really think the show did a great job with showing Abigail struggling with that, and again, feeling like because the whole school is watching her because she's a bellwether, she's also feeling like she can't even fall into her emotions of feeling scared and sad and overwhelmed, which anybody would. But we see where she gets it from, right? We go right back to her mother who's trying to identify the sound of the screeching that disabled their ability to use magic. Like, clearly her mother is going through some stuff as well. She saw her own niece die. She saw her daughter almost get killed. She almost got killed. So even though, you know, they say that, oh, I'm a soldier, we go through this every day. Like, I've known people who've been in the military and it doesn't go away. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you kind of have to compartmentalize and deal with things when you're in the thick of everything, but there's a reason a whole term was created for this. PTSD is a real thing. Like, if it's not dealt with, and that was a fantastic line by Tally that said that, you know, you can't run away from this, you can't ignore it, you have to deal with it so you can be recentered and be able to move forward. Yeah, that was a really powerful message around the ideas of grief and trauma, and I'm glad that, like I said, the show really dealt with it. And of course, we saw the flip side of that with Raelle, who is, you know, obviously knows that something is not right. She knows that Scylla could not just disappear into thin air. So she knows that either someone, you know, because of course, if she doesn't realize that Scylla is Spree, so she's thinking, well, what if Spree got her? Like, what's going on? No one's telling her anything. And we're seeing that I feel like so much of this that's going on with Scylla is really more wrapped up in her mother and the way that her mother died. I think that she still hasn't fully dealt with that. And this is just another reminiscent situation of losing somebody that she cared about way too soon and feeling powerless to stop it. And of course, the military is making the biggest, stupidest mistake that people always make with just being like, oh, don't ask, shut up, don't worry about it, not your worry. And I know that's a real military thing. By the way, I do understand in the military there is, you know, the classifications, and they very much tell soldiers to shut up and not to worry about it and to mind their business. But that's not the way human brains work. Like, that has never ever worked in the history of ever. Not really. And we ask questions for a reason, and if it's a question we really care about, like, it will haunt us. We will not be able to get, as we saw, like, Raelle cannot sleep, she can't eat, she can't focus, because she needs resolution to all of this. Even though it was the wrong thing, well, I don't know, I guess you shouldn't say the wrong thing, because I guess at this point the military probably has no intention of letting Scylla go alive. But at least with the teachers saying that Scylla was dead, that at least would give Raelle some closure. Of course, Raelle was gonna do something or need to find out for herself. Like, she would need to see a body or something. You know what I mean? She's not the kind of person who can give up on that, especially considering the way that her mother died. But the interesting parts to me of this episode that really, really stood out as far as new things, whatever the heck that thing was that was inside of the Necro hangout, that wall of weird, definitely touched Raelle. Like, she touched it, we saw it on her finger. I thought it would still be there, but it looks like it absorbed into her somehow. And we saw how panicked that instructor looked at the idea that she might have come in contact with it. So I have no doubt that that's probably going to manifest itself into something that's probably going to be either massive or crazy towards the end of the season. And then also the girl and the guy that showed up, the little girl and the man who showed up from, it looks like the same tribe or whatever that Adler is from originally, from way back in the day. They still speak the mother tongue, which sounds a lot to me like, what's it, South African? Is it Dosa? I can't say it because I can't knock. You know what I mean? Like that South African dialect. That's what it sounded like to me, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, we're getting a little bit more, it's a very tiny bit of Adler's history. She clearly went rogue from her tribe. Apparently, when she heard, remember we saw that in the meeting 3 episodes ago with the big council, that the seeds that she heard, she recognized them in the sense of like she'd heard them before, but clearly they're so far in her past that she doesn't remember them. Or maybe she left before she got a chance to learn them fully. It looks like we're learning that she went off, you know, the reservation, as they say, and she used what she learned, or what she knew at least at that point, and militarized it and let the masses find out about it. And apparently her people felt like that was an ultimate sin and that it's supposed to stay within the family. And so it'll be interesting to find out more about the history of why that happened. And I've noticed they've really stayed away from Adler's history, which I feel like, considering what a massive overarching presence she is in this show, it's kind of strange that we're not getting much outside of what we saw from like episode 2 in that play. So anyway, maybe more of that is coming up towards the end of this, towards the tail end of the season. But I am interested to find out like where the history of that came. Like, is it more of a thing where Adler decided to take this and share it with the world because she thought she was doing the best thing for everyone? Or did she want glory and it went awry? Or like, there's just so many possibilities. So I do hope the show delves into more of that. And I think we saw potentially a little spark of a little something maybe between the guy and Abigail. They had a little moment there. We saw at the end that Scylla is in the hands actually of the military, and apparently they're probably trying to get information out of her. But as I said, I still have a lot of theories about Adler and a lot of suspicions, and so I'm wondering how her session with Scylla is really going to go. Anyway, this episode was really interesting, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe. Until next time, see ya!